Now to our ABC News exclusive. Rapper 21 Savage speaking out for the first time since his release by ICE. The hip-hop artist, who was born in England, was arrested by immigration authorities for overstaying his visa, held for 9 days, forcing him to miss his performance at the Grammys. He sat down with ABC's Lindsay Davis here with this exclusive interview. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, George. Yes, he was born in England, but 21 Savage says he is from Atlanta. He says it's where he grew up, starting in first grade. From the moment he was first detained, his legal team says there's been a lot of misinformation. And less than 24 hours after being released from an ICE detention center, 21 Savage sat down with us to set the record straight.
A rising star in the music industry, 21 Savage is considered Atlanta rap royalty, known for chart-topping hits like Rockstar, which features his distinct voice. A song he was supposed to perform at this year's Grammys, where he was nominated for 2 awards.
Song 21 Savage, it should be here tonight.
But instead of gracing the stage at the premier event in music, he was being held in an immigration detention center in South Georgia. Many fans were stunned to learn the rapper was born in Britain but lived in Atlanta. Immigration authorities say he overstayed his visa, which expired 13 years ago.
I don't think the policy is broken. I feel like the way that they enforce the policy is broken.
While he was detained, an outpouring of support from some of the biggest names in the music industry.
Share your support.
And a petition with nearly 500,000 names to keep him in the U.S. permanently. Jay-Z providing a powerhouse legal team to get him out of the detention center and keep him in the country.
Walk us through February 3rd, just a few hours before Super Bowl is about to take place here in Atlanta, and you get pulled over. What happened?
I don't even know. I was just driving and I just seen guns and blue lights. And then I was in the back of a car and I was gone.
They tell you you're under arrest?
Nah, they didn't say nothing. They just said, "We got Savage."
They said, "We got Savage."
Yeah.
Sounds like this was potentially something they set out to do. This would have been targeted and not just a random traffic stop.
It was definitely targeted.
The 26-year-old, whose real name is Shea bin Abraham Joseph, says he came to the U.S. with his mom and brothers when he was 7 years old.
At a certain point, 2006, your visa expired.
I didn't know what a visa was. I was 7 when I first came here. I knew I wasn't born here, but I didn't know what that meant as far as when I transitioned into an adult, how it was gonna affect my life. I wasn't hiding it, but it's like I didn't want to get deported, so I'm not gonna just come out and be like, "Hey, by the way, I wasn't born here to world."
His arrest by the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency came just days after the rapper released his music video, A Lot.
How many problems you got?
You have a line in there where you say, "Went through some things, but I couldn't imagine my kids stuck at the border."
Right.
Do you feel like you were targeted as a result of that? Basically being critical of the immigration system here?
My lawyers think that.
What do you think?
I don't really know. I can't really say. I would see why people would think that, but I really can't say.
The Department of Homeland Security has been aware he's been living here on an expired visa for some time. Back in 2017, he applied to become a lawful permanent resident.
I've been here 20 years, 19 years. This is all I know, you know what I'm saying? I don't feel like you should be arrested and put in a place where a murderer would be for just being in the country for too long.
Tell us about what the detention center was like.
I was in one room all day.
By yourself?
Yeah.
Do you have that concern now that you might be kicked out?
Yeah, but I feel like I've been through so much in my life. I've learned to embrace the times when I'm down, because they always build me up.
We are in the middle of securing his immigration status, so where he is a citizen, but it's very, very complicated, and there's a lot of steps that we have to go through.
His 3 children, too young to understand the complexities behind why Daddy was gone for 9 days.
Who the best daddy in the world?
No.
What was that moment like yesterday when you got to hug them and see them?
They started jumping me.
On Wednesday, 21 Savage was released on $100,000 bond.
There are a lot of people who don't get a bond, who you left still back in the detention center. What's your message to them?
I feel your pain, and I'm gonna do everything in my power to try and bring awareness to your pain.
ICE confirms to us that 21 Savage was indeed apprehended during a targeted operation with federal and local law enforcement partners. He says his #1 priority right now is becoming a U.S. citizen, George.
Okay, Lindsay, thanks for joining now by one of the members of the legal team brought in by Jay-Z, Alex Spiro, partner of Quinn Emanuel. Alex, thank you for joining us this morning. So ICE concedes he was targeted. The question is, was he targeted because of his music?
Yes, and we believe honestly that he was targeted, of course, like they said, and part of the reason we think is because he's both a celebrity and they can use this as a way to send a message, and also perhaps because of his music.
Is this the case that they would normally bring someone who's been here 19, 20 years?
We don't believe so. There's a lot of things about this case that are curious and troubling. Even if you start at the beginning, he's somebody who comes here as a young man. He's one of the dreamers, as they're called. And he comes over here and he has a singular offense for marijuana when he's a college-age person. That's vacated, sealed. There's no issue. He's getting a visa. He's operating in good faith. He's performing. He's giving back to his community. He's a son. He's a father. And yet they take this step, this unusual step, to arrest him the week before the Grammys and not give him bond. And we find the whole thing curious and troubling.
And so the big question now is what's next? Is he actually vulnerable to deportation?
He's certainly vulnerable, but we're confident, and his fans should be confident, that he'll be able to remain here. And, we're hoping that will give, some hope to everybody else that fights these issues.
Well, and that's what I wanted to get to is 21 Savage says he wants to send a broader message to educate everyone about what's going on. What is the message?
Well, I think the message is that we can't forget about the people that don't have the resources, that don't have the fame to fight for their freedom, both in the criminal system and in the immigration system. There's people that are just totally forgotten that exist in these detention centers, and people like Jay-Z, and he stepped in for Meek Mill, and he stepped in here, and now I'm hoping people like 21 Savage will bring light to these issues and help the people that are forgotten.
Alex Spiro, thanks for your time this morning.
Thanks so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.